Last week there were a few surprises in the Premier League, and as a result I got a lot of my predictions wrong. If anything, this week's looks even harder to predict than last, but I'm going to give it a go. So let's start with Saturday's lunchtime kickoff, which is West Ham against Chelsea. Chelsea have started off their season with their usual levels of inconsistency, while West Ham haven't really found their form yet. I thought the Hammers looked good at Crystal Palace the other week, but so far that's their only win, so they could do with kick-starting their season with a statement win here. Chelsea are really difficult to predict as usual, so I'm going to play it safe and say this one ends up a draw, so 1-1 with Chelsea equalising late on. Wolves have yet to win in the Premier League this season, and I don't think they're going to change that at Villa Park. They haven't played particularly badly, but they've had a very tricky opening few fixtures, and that doesn't change for them this weekend. Aston Villa come into this one off the back of a commanding 3-0 win in their first Champions League game for decades, so they'll be full of confidence, and I don't think their West Midland rivals will trouble them too much here. 2-0 to Villa. It's a sign of a good team when you can play poorly yet keep winning, and that's Newcastle so far this season. They've been underwhelming, but they still sit level with Arsenal on 10 points. Fulham are decent at home, and they were unlucky to concede that late equaliser against West Ham the other week. I predicted they'd lose that one, but I think they will lose this one. Newcastle to put in another average performance, but come away with another 3 points, 2-1. How desperately do these two teams need a win? Leicester threw away a 2-goal lead at Crystal Palace last week and came away with a draw. Everton's collapse has gone one better as they lost 3-2 from 2-0 up, and they've done it twice. The collapse against Bournemouth was one of the worst I've seen and probably one of the worst in Premier League history. I doubt Sean Dyche's job is at risk at this point, but it won't be long before the fans start turning against him if these performances continue. Out of the first 4 matches, I'd say undoubtedly Leicester have been the better of the two, and I'm going to back them to get their first win here. 2-1, and for Everton's sake, I hope that doesn't happen after they score first again. Everyone talks about how poor Liverpool were when they lost to Nottingham Forest last week, but I don't think they were. Forest had a game plan and they stuck to it brilliantly. They should be given some more credit for the way they defended there. But no matter how you look at it, the defeat at home was a poor result for Arne Slot. They bounced back with victory in Milan midweek though, so I don't think they're dwelling on it. Bournemouth are difficult to beat under Iraola, so we know they'll be in the game from start to finish. Liverpool will be too strong and edge it in the end though, 1-0. Ipswich beat Southampton twice in the league last season, and both teams go into this one without a win in the Premier League. Southampton have struggled to find goals, while Ipswich have been scrapping for every point, and I thought they played really well against Brighton last week. It won't be long before they get their first win. If Southampton don't win here, they could be waiting a while for theirs, with some tricky fixtures coming up, but I think their struggles in front of goal will prove costly again here. I'm going to back Ipswich to get their first Premier League win for over 20 years, 2-0. Tottenham created a lot of chances against Arsenal last week, but still couldn't find the net, which has been the story of their season really. Brentford played well at the Etihad, and although they ended up losing, they should be proud of that performance. It's a bit worrying that Wissa picked up an injury though, and he'll miss this one. Solanke still hasn't scored for Spurs, but I think that might change today. I have a feeling that someone is going to be on the end of a hiding at the hands of Tottenham soon, and I think that could be Brentford today. So I'm going to take a risk and say Spurs to win 4-1. Lastly, in the evening kickoff, we have Crystal Palace against Manchester United. Palace were lucky to win at QPR in the Cup midweek, and despite their late comeback, I actually thought that game against Leicester was their worst in the league, and they still don't have a win. Manchester United have looked decent since that defeat to Liverpool. They clawed back that goal difference against Southampton last week, then hammered Barnsley in the League Cup. I know people will say it's only Barnsley, but scoring 7 goals will give the players a boost either way. Palace won this fixture 4-0 last year, and if this had been a few weeks ago I would have gone for Palace, but right now I think United are starting to hit form, and they'll leave London with 3 points here, 3-1. How many of these do you think I'll get right? Let me know in the comments. I'll be posting my prediction for tomorrow's games in the morning, and obviously we've got that big match at the Etihad. So please consider subscribing for that.
Reminding the players that it's important to get off to a quick start, really attack the opposition and put them on the back foot from the off. Hopefully we'll get a good game.
Good patient build-up, but not quite the end product. This is the Crystal Palace lineup.
Yeah, it's a 5-2-3, and I do really like this system. It's got a very fluid look to it. It